Welcome to the AI Research Roundup. I'm Alex, and today we're looking at a paper from the Hugging Face trending list, published on July 7th, 2025, about 3 days ago. This paper presents a new framework that, for the first time, solves 5 problems from the challenging post-2000 International Mathematical Olympiad, or IMO. The paper is titled, Toward Solving More Challenging IMO Problems via Decoupled Reasoning and Proving, and as we'll see, the approach is quite clever. The authors argue that current methods fail because they tightly couple high-level reasoning with the detailed steps of proving. So, to see how this decoupled approach works in practice, the authors provide this great visual. It shows their whole pipeline tackling a problem from the IMO 2019 competition. On the left, a general LLM acts as the reasoner, breaking the problem down with high-level, human-like steps. Then, in the middle, these ideas are converted into formal sub-goals. Finally, a separate specialized model for automated theorem proving, which is just using a computer to formally prove math, takes these verified steps and assembles the final, rigorous proof on the right. To really understand why this decoupling is so important, the authors contrast their method with older, tightly coupled systems. This figure shows a proof attempt from a different model, the Camina prover. You can see it relies heavily on an automatic tactic called omega. A tactic, in this context, is a pre-programmed command that tries to solve a narrow kind of math problem automatically. The paper argues this is a shallow strategy, more of a lucky guess than deep mathematical reasoning, which is precisely the limitation their new framework is designed to overcome. So, to avoid those shallow tactics, the researchers designed a very specific set of instructions for their reasoner model. This table shows the exact prompt they used. It tells the LLM to first devise a complete strategy, and only then, break the problem into smaller steps or sub-goals. These sub-goals are written in a formal language called Lean-4, which is just a way to write proofs a computer can verify. And notice, it explicitly says to avoid mechanical tactics, and instead focus on meaningful milestones. This instruction is what forces that deep human-like reasoning. And this table really drives home why that focus on general reasoning is so critical. It compares a general-purpose math model with a specialized prover model that was built from it. When tested on general math reasoning benchmarks, not just formal proving, the results are pretty stark. The specialized prover's performance drops significantly across the board, losing between about 5 and 11 percentage points in accuracy. This performance drop strongly suggests that when you over-specialize a model for proving, you actually damage its core mathematical intuition, which is exactly why the authors argue for keeping the two tasks separate. And here's a fantastic example of that reasoning power in action. This shows a critical missing lemma for an IMO problem. A lemma is essentially a smaller helper proof needed to solve the main problem. Here, the system identified that the key was to prove a specific property about the greatest common divisor, which is just the largest number that divides two others. By generating and proving this one critical lemma, the framework could eliminate the final unresolved case, thereby cracking the entire problem. It's a great illustration of finding that strategic linchpin. Building on that idea of finding key steps, this next view shows the full solution to another problem, IMO 2000, Problem 2. And it's a perfect visual for the decoupled approach. The bottom half shows the high-level strategy generated by the reasoner, a clear 4-step human-like plan. It involves parametrizing the problem, which is just rewriting it with new variables to simplify it, and then applying a known rule called a sure-type inequality. In contrast, the top part is the formal, low-level proof, just a sequence of automated tactics. This comparison really shows the power of separating deep reasoning from mechanical verification. So, what this all comes down to is a really elegant solution to a stubborn problem. The key takeaway is that forcing a single model to both reason and prove actually makes it worse at both. By decoupling these tasks, letting a powerful general LLM handle high-level strategy and a separate model handle verification, the framework solves 5 incredibly difficult IMO problems. It's a huge step forward for automated theorem proving, the field dedicated to creating these machine-checked proofs. That's all for this week's AI Research Roundup. Thanks for tuning in.